Okay. So what's the topic tonight?
Love.
That's right. Love is the topic. What's love got to do with it? Remember that? If you remember that, you're showing you have good taste. I don't think anything more than that. Okay. I got so much to tell you, but I only have like 30 minutes for the class. So I'm going to take all the information I have, I'm going to crunch it into a smaller portion. Let me ask a question though, to the crowd over here. Have you ever been in love before? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes? No?
No.
Never?
I don't think so.
Good answer. I don't think so. It could be.
I don't think so.
I would say no, and then I would say you would have to define what it means to be in love.
So that we have to figure out what does it actually mean to be in love.
No.
No, it's like pretty sure. No, I haven't, Rabbi. I'm not at all.
Yeah.
You have. You have. What is that? What is that strong pull that drives us, that everyone is searching for? I mean, I'm assuming that you may not have been in love, you're looking for love. You probably have been in love. When I asked that question, you probably thought about a partner you've been with, but I'm sure you love your parents. Well, it depends on the weekend. What day of the week it is, you know? You love family, right?
Love and in love are different.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
and in love with it. Oh, I like
I
that.
think it's reciprocated. That's what I think of in love. So like, I think I've loved someone before, but I don't think they've loved me back. Therefore,
Uh-huh.
I don't consider that I've been in love.
I also think of in love as a romantic relationship as opposed to other kinds of
Right.
Right.
So the funny thing is, all love comes from the same place. It's just channeled in different ways. So a mother loves a child, you know. We love our friends, family. You may love a lot of things, but how do we fall in love with a partner? You know, that's and interestingly enough, both of them and all those loves come from actually the same source. If we can figure out what this secret source is, maybe we can apply it to all different relationships. And once we figure out the answer to that question, which is actually not such a difficult answer, once we do figure that answer out, we can move to the next phase and say, well, then how do I create a loving relationship? What's been missing? Is there such a thing as love at first sight? You know, these are interesting questions which come out from this. And everyone's obsessed with this topic. I mean, everyone's singing about it, making movies about it. Like every song on the radio, you know, and the online. Love, 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 love. Everyone's in love. We want to be in love. So what is that secret formula? And is it a secret formula? Can we figure it out and do something with it? That's really what we're going to try to do. Maybe it's good we have a small, intimate setting for this.
I agree.
You agree. There you go. That's okay. That's okay. This is some deep stuff. Okay. There's a famous story, which actually I'm writing a book on this. But it's actually on marriage, but I'm assuming, you know, love is part of marriage, hopefully. Well, at least initially. Right? You hope. At least under the chuppah, you know? You're hoping at least at some point. So there's a famous story of I did this myself actually in the class, but it's a famous story of one of the great leading rabbis who was giving a lecture, and he said, "Tell me what you love. What do you love?" And someone said, "I love fish." He goes, "No, you don't." He goes, "Yes, I do. I love fish." He goes, "You don't love fish." He goes, "What do you mean I don't love? I just told you I love fish. Thursday night, my wife makes a delicious piece of fish, herbs, spices in the oven. I love it." He goes, "No. If you love fish, you wouldn't catch it, kill it, gut it, skin it, carve in your favorite herbs and spices, and eat it. Hope you don't love your wife and kids like that. What you're saying is you love yourself. You love what fish does to you. You enjoy fish. You like fish. You like the effect of fish in your stomach and on your taste buds. But that's not love. That's self-love. Love is actually going to be the complete opposite of that. So we use the word love so, I love this, I love that. In truth, you don't. In truth, you're actually loving yourself. One of the challenges, that's not my topic this evening, it's another topic. but that many people date and create a loving relationship without commitment, i.e. marriage. It's a very dangerous game to play. Right? It happens all the time. But really they think they're in love, but really they're loving themselves. Because for most people, dating, let's just be very honest about it, all adults over here, is a very selfish behavior. If you think about it, right? What do we say when we're dating? Oh, he was so nice to me, she took me here, we went there, and she was so great, he's so wonderful, we went there, you know? What you're saying is, it's about me. This loving relationship is what the other person could do to me. And yet, we see in Jewish sources, if you want to figure out what real love is, it's what I can do for somebody else. As I wrote in my book, which is just in the midst of editing now, dating is I, marriage is us. Dating is me, marriage is we. Assuming that's your end goal. I'm not saying everyone who's married is in a loving relationship. Many people who just get married are actually still dating, you know? Still carrying on the same selfish behavior. And there's people who are dating who have very good, positive loving relationships, you know? But that's what we're trying to figure out. So let's try to figure out what love is actually meant to be. And it's nothing too weird or spooky, you know? It's actually pretty easy to define. And there was a great rabbi who I'm a big fan of. I never got to meet him. He passed away, I think, after I was born. His name was Rabbi Dessler. He actually survived the Holocaust. I think he fled beforehand without his family. There's a whole story. He met his wife and kids afterwards. There's a whole story of what happened to him. He moved to England, obviously, but, you know, great rabbis go. And then he moved to the north of England. He was in London. And then he moved to Israel. And he wrote a lot of books and gave a lot of lectures. And they were translated into English in a set of books called Strive for Truth. And he has a chapter, very easy to read. It's a real obligatory reading, I think, for everyone who, you know, is interested in this topic, which I think we all are, on loving kindness. And he defines love. And by the way, when you grow up going to yeshiva like I did, and some of you hear this all the time, this idea I'm about to share with you. It's a very famous idea, you know? Guys and girls love this idea, especially girls. But they don't really understand it. They think they like it, they don't fully understand the implication of it. And in order to appreciate it, you have to know the Hebrew word for love, which is ahava, right? Which you all thought was a cream you buy in the mall from the Israelis who are, you know, selling stuff in the little, you know, like Uri comes over and is like, come, I put ahava cream on you. You know, you want to put love cream on me? Thank you so much. I'll go without this time. Thank you, Uri. So he says the Hebrew word is ahava. Every Hebrew word, this is a whole topic in and of itself, which is for another time, has a root which reveals the secret behind that word or that idea. Do you happen to know what the root of the word ahava is, which will reveal it to you? Hav. What does hav mean? To give. Okay, very famous idea. To give. So when you learn this, you go, oh, that's so cute. Right? When I learned this as a young man, I was like, oh, that's a beautiful idea, right? If you give someone, they're going to love you. That's such a beautiful thing. Like, what a nice thing. But that's completely false. It's absolutely not true. When you give somebody something, they may not love you. Actually, they could actually hate you. They could despise you. Think about a parent giving a child whatever they want. Right? They want to go at 3 in the morning. They want to have chocolate for dinner. You know, they want cookies. They don't want to do their homework. Whatever you want, but you take whatever you want. You want the new iPhones come out, you can have that, no problem. Whatever you broke, you want the new updated one, no problem. You want the new car, whatever you want, you get. You know, you're such a great gift. Oh, so good. I love you so much. What a loving parent. What does a kid do? Despises their parents. Take the college fund, throw it out, and give it straight to the therapist. You've killed the kid. You've made him a spoiled brat. But this makes sense. We just said that if you love someone, right, that involves giving. So the mistake most people make when they hear this idea is they think that if you give somebody something, they're going to love you. But that's not true. We just proved that. So how does the word love involve the word giving?
What's the different giving? The example you gave is giving items, giving things. Like in love, you're giving yourself.
I know many love relationships, just to play devil's advocate or angel's advocate, where a guy or a girl give their life up for someone else, give, their time, not money or things, and the other person despises them. You heard such a relationship before?
Was it like yourself emotionally, not yourself?
Yeah,
like,
emotionally.
your
Yes, your
dreams,
person gives themselves
emotionally.
emotionally, and the other person doesn't like them at all. Happens a lot. Happens all the time. Happens every day. So you're right. We're not just talking giving things and objects. Absolutely right. What's the answer over here? What are we missing over here? What do you think?
Where?
How did this happen? If love is about giving, time, money, whatever it is, gifts, emotion, why is it not being reciprocated? Why is it a one-way giving?
Because it's supposed to be two-way giving?
You can't give to get.
You can give to get,
Not in love.
not in love. Okay.
You should
Okay.
give. Like you should give to give and then get because the other person wants to give, not because the other person.
Okay, so like Jacob just said, you want to have a two-way giving. So how's the love actually generated?
No, that's not what I said.
Oh, okay.
But it's okay.
I'll clarify then.
Well, I'm saying is that if you give for the sake of getting something in return, it's not giving. It's
Right.
like what you were saying before.
It's taking.
Selfish. It's
Yes,
taking.
selfish, right. Giving for the sake
So
of giving.
in love, you want to give for the sake of giving only, and then when you have it, yeah, two-way, then you have love.
Right. My point is, but I know people who give, and that person doesn't give back. So what's happening is, they are in love. They're very, very much in love.
She just said she doesn't love him.
If let's say he's the giver in this situation, okay, and he's giving, his time, his emotions,
And then she despises him.
and he's doing it selflessly, and she despises. Is that possible?
Then they're not in love. He loves her.
He is in love.
No, he is in love.
Yes.
She's not. She doesn't
Correct.
love him.
She's not. Why?
She's not giving.
That's
That's what I don't know why.
The person who
no.
gives is the person
That's so
who has
she's not
love.
loving.
Right, the person who's giving is the
Well,
person who
that
has
was
love.
it.
Giving shows
That
love.
is the answer.
Wait.
You missed it. You missed
We're
it.
reviewing it.
And we've ended the class. Thank you, sir. I'm not that cruel. I'm tempted. You actually hit the nail on the head. We got that. And it goes like this. Everything you said was correct, by the way. But why? What's the mechanics behind it? And the mechanics of Destin, this beautiful essay, is that the love follows the giving. The more you give, the more you love. If you give somebody something, you love them, whether you like it or not. Now you give me a relationship where both sides are giving, so they're both loving each other. Because remember, the love follows the giving. Here's the giving, the love's going to follow it. And you have a relationship where both sides are giving, which we assume most relationships begin with at least for a month, a week, at least a day. Even in 2016, maybe half an hour. But if one side gives and one side takes, the one who gives is going to fall in love with the taker. And when they break up, the one who's the giver is the one who's a broken individual. Because the taker, why does that happen? They've been dating for however many years. This is so common. And then one side is going to be brave, the other one is like, quick to get over it. What, you weren't in love with me? They were, but they just weren't as in love with you. Why? Because they weren't giving as much. That's all it is. Now, in a relationship, the giving comes and goes. It kind of moves like I see it like give. Everyone's got. You've got to take. Everyone's got to take. You can't take. You can't. There's no relationship. It's a give and take. But if you're not there's never been a divorce in the world history that didn't start usually with two people giving. Usually, the one person giving, one person taking, and they both become takers. And not just things. It could be things. Time, effort, emotion, just for themselves. Selfish behavior. So love is generated, it's a very simple formula, through giving. Which means you have to be very, very careful who you give to. Don't you? Because if you give to the wrong person, whether you like it or not, you're going to fall in love with them. Right? We Jews don't walk around like, hey, we're going to come and give me a big hug. Right? There's concentric circles. We have our families, we have our communities, right? We have our country, right? We have Israel. There's certain concentric circles. We all have our own personal ones as well. But we're not the Hare Krishnas walking through the airport hugging and loving everyone. Right? It's a confined thing, because when I give someone, I'm creating a relationship with them. And I'm not just talking romantic. We said that this form is going to work for all relationships. I speak at camps over the summer. And I always say, who's having a great time there? Right? So there's always a few kids who have a terrible time. Right? I mean, they have exactly what they want. I always mention this. I'm like, you in like paradise. You're being paid to go on a 2-month vacation to play sports. Do you know how much I would love that right now? You know, I really, you gotta pay, my parents pay for me to just like play ball all day and hang out and sing songs and cheer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's always one kid who's complaining, the water's too cold. Right? I'm like, are you crazy? You're like in heaven over here. Look at you, you're in the woods, no parents, candy heaven, whatever you want, and I don't know, the water's too cold. You know, I'm like, that is madness. But putting those kids aside, right? Most kids enjoy camp. I love sleepaway camp. For me, it was just, oh my God. I was like homesick on the way down. I got off the butler and I was like, this is amazing. Right? I'm free, you know? Sleepaway camp's a very good thing to do, by the way, for kids. Very helpful. All my kids are going to sleepaway camp. Very helpful. Very good way to learn independence.
If they're a good kid.
Oh, even if they're bad ones, they'll learn from the experience. They'll learn.
They'll learn,
Kids who are
but
great too if they're bad.
Oh, make no mistake. Oh, yes, it's my vacation, but they go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a great learning experience. It really is. The Jewish camp is a very, very... But you know what's the best time, I always say? The camp owner. I mean, besides the fact that he's making money out of it, although a lot of camps they're not, because he's giving a lot more to the... Whoever gives more loves more. So I lead trips to Israel. I mean, you're having a great time, I'm having a better time, but I'm working harder than you. You're having a great day, you're on vacation, I'm working over here, but I'm getting more out of this experience. But Esther says that's why a mother loves the child more than the child loves the mother. Always that way. Because the mother gives. Right? Being a mother or a father is a constant giving process. For the first 9 months that a baby's a fetus, the mother's just giving of herself. That's when the baby's born. If everything's healthy and normal, then with the mother, I'm saying, the mother's going to love the child. So natural, like when you hear mother doesn't love the child, there's something wrong. I mean, there are certain conditions, but that's unusual. It's not right. God could have created it that babies just pop out after, a woman, gets pregnant for one day and out comes a baby. I mean, frightening thought. Terrifying thought. Right. And what does the baby do? What are babies? Takers. And I heard once, I don't know if it's written anywhere, but I heard it, so it should be written somewhere. That's why babies enter this world with their hands closed. But we all leave this world with our hands open. Because the natural state of being a baby and a child is to take. That's the natural state. You spend the first years of your life, first 4 or 5 years, or if you're Jewish, first 20 years, just being a taker. Taking. Right? That's really what we do. And what does the mother do and the parents do? They give. That's why the parent loves out. It's very important. That's why in Jewish thought we're very, very make a big of teaching kids how to become givers. Such an important part of who we are. Kids have to learn how to give. You can have all the wonderful stuff, and we love to buy our kids and spoil them rotten. I'm the first one to admit it, But kids have to learn to become givers. From an early age, you put your money in the pushka in the charity box, right? I'm just one person in my community. Just stuff coming to my head now. My wife, sends the kids off. There's like cutting vegetables for poor people, Right? There's a special kitchen. My wife goes, I don't want to go. But I don't want to stay home. I want to play the iPad. I want to hang out with my friends. You've got to go cut vegetables now. Right? Learn to become a giver. They don't understand that. They still got to do it. And it impacts them. That's how you create giving beings. How do you create giving beings? By giving. There's it's not related so much to where we are right now in the Jewish year, but it will be soon. In Pesach, there's a famous commentator called the Sefer Chinuch. It's interesting. We don't know who he was actually. It's unusual. We usually know exactly who our authors are. This one actually was an interesting guy. We don't know exactly who he is, but we know why. We know when he lived and where he lived, but we know why he wrote this book. And he had a young boy. He kept asking his son, "Why do we do all the mitzvah? Why do we have to eat kosher? Why do we have to give charity? Why do we have to?" He said, "I'm going to write a book for your bar mitzvah." Nice, right? Not throw you like a $30,000, party. I'm going to write a book for your bar mitzvah for you. What a nice gesture. Yeah? And in it, I'm going to put down all the reasons for every mitzvah. Every mitzvah is going to have a reason. It's called the Book of Education. You can buy it in English, Book of Education. Try that, actually, that yellow set over there. Sefer Chinuch. It's a classic. Because people want to know the reasons why we do certain things. Certain things we can figure out, but not everything. So at Pesach time, he stops it. He does it by mitzvot. In other words, the book is divided into Torah portions and then 613 chapters, headings, because it's 613 mitzvot in the Torah. And he stops when he gets to Pesach and he makes the following statement. He stops when he gets to Pesach and makes the following statement. Why Pesach? We'll see. He could have said this anywhere. He said it by Passover. So we'll see why in a second. Maybe you can figure it out yourselves. He says that Adam nifal k'fi pulatav. A person is influenced by what they do. A person is influenced by their actions. We think, yeah, people are influenced by their mind. If you want to fix a person, you make them think good thoughts. Right? That's what everyone's doing in therapy. Think good stuff. And that's fine. He says no. It's more important to fix a person's actions. Because if you do good stuff, you become good. You take or you do bad things, you become bad. No matter how good or bad you actually are. And he goes into a little bit more detail. Let me share this amazing idea with you. It's a classic. He says you can have a person who thinks good all day. All they do is think good and talk about doing good. Oh, I want to make the world into a better place. I want to help the world. I want to be a good person. And they think and they talk and they talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. That's all they seem to do. Talk a good game. That's all they do. But they do something bad. They do a bad action. That person is on the way to being a bad person, he says. United Nations. All talking. Then you have the opposite. You have a person who thinks bad all day. They just want to think about hurting people and upsetting people and irritating. That's all they think about all day. But then they do a good act. They put a coin in the box or whatever it is. They're on the way to being a great person. Because one person's up there, thinking of things, but their actions push them down. This person's down here, but their actions, they push them up. What you literally do affects who you are. Why do you think this is mentioned by Passover? Of all the mitzvah, why did he stop at Passover? You have enough Jewish knowledge to figure out what it is about Passover that he makes such a statement. What's Passover all about? What do you do on Passover? What do? You think about it, you talk about it, and you clean the house for days and weeks. You don't eat stuff and you clear the house out, you eat matzah and the 4 cups of wine, and you talk and discuss. And you're so busy. Right? You're constantly doing stuff. And you can turn around and be like, oh, I have so much to do. Why can't we just have a short conversation about it and finish? Because that's not going to influence who you are. So at this point, I believe, I think I heard this from someone, but if not, it's my chiddush. He says you stop and you say, there's so many details when it comes to, you can sing and dance all you want, right? We were slaves in Egypt, we were taken out, I love good. But if you pick up a broom and sweep out the chametz, the leaven from your house, you've missed the whole point. And interestingly enough, all of the mitzvot in the Torah, except 6, the 6 constant mitzvot, involve action. Stuff you should do and stuff you shouldn't do as well. Always an action. That's about the positive mitzvot, you actually have to do something. They all involve an action. 6 you can do with your mind, which is another discussion, not for now. Which can be fulfilled anytime. But others, you've got to do something. You've got to eat this. You've got to hear the shofar. You've got to eat the matzah. You've got to walk into the sukkah. You've got to walk into the mikveh. Right? You've got to visit Israel. You've got to give a korban. There's all the sacrifices. You've got to do so much. There's always stuff you have to do. By doing that, you're creating a love relationship between you and God. The formula is there. It's the same formula. Right? It's the same formula. It's just manifests itself in different ways. When it comes to your friends, your employees, you may not call it love, but that's actually what it is. I had a couple many years ago. I put this in the book as well. It's in my head because we're just finishing the editing now. And they came to see me. And they've been dating for, typical couple, 3-4 years. They met at college and they kind of dating. And then they just So he came to see me in the office, back there, actually. And, she gets very emotional, this young lady, starts crying. And I said, what's wrong? She says, Rabbi, I want to get married. I said, I'm flattered, but I'm already married. She goes, no, not to you, to him. And he's, sitting there, drool coming out of his mouth. So I said, what's the problem? So we had discussions backwards and forwards, you know. During the conversation, I asked the following question. On a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the least, 10 being the most, if you were to break up right now, how upset would you be? She gets teary-eyed, mascara, snot bubble, the whole thing. And she's like, 10 out of 10. Devastating. And I said to him, honest conversation, how upset would you be? Out of 10. 6, 7 out of 10. And people hear that story and think, what a terrible guy. What a mean, nasty person. But that's not what I thought. What did I think? What are the formula did we just look at a few moments ago?
Giving and
Giving.
He was more of a taker and she was more of a giver. That's what it meant. She'd given 10 out of 10 and he'd also given 6 out of 10. I'm sure it fluctuated as the relationship progressed. But the people who are most cut up out of the relationship are the ones who gave the most. It's just the way it is.
What happens if you're both cut up?
Oh, you were both giving. You may see that's not the right relationship. That happens too.
Is it ever?
He was upset too. He wasn't happy, he wouldn't have come. He wasn't upset if she was.
Is it ever equal?
Sure, could be.
Is it supposed to be? Is that ideal?
Or equal giving? Oh, absolutely. But you
Okay.
can't, it's impossible. Because, you know, you're always like, but you should be striving to give.
But is the giving like a cause or a symptom of the love? So like
Very, very good question. And the answer is clearly, the giving is a cause. It causes the love. That's what the love comes from. By the way, our first question, is there such a thing as love at first sight?
Not if you've been given it.
Exactly. It's impossible. Lust at first sight, yes. That there can be. You can see potential. I've had people say, oh, I saw the first time, I knew this was it. They weren't in love. They weren't in love. They saw potential in the future, down the line, somewhere, there could be something. They saw a potential in this person. A potential for giving is really what they're seeing. That's fair. You can have that. But it's not love yet. As anyone who's been let's talk marriage, someone who's been in a good, successful marriage for, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Right? By the way, if I had my way, I would stop all weddings at the beginning of the marriage and push them all to 10 years after. Which is pretty much what we're doing now anyway, but we'll leave that aside. Right? That way your kids can come, you wait longer, maybe your grandkids come as well, you know? If you survive 10 years, have a party. Right? But ask someone who's been in a really good relationship. They have a good marriage. Right? Bad marriage, I don't even think about. I'm saying a good marriage is really tough. Like really, really hard. Like crazy hard. I'm talking about a good one, not about a bad. Bad one I can't even think about. And even though there's ups and downs, there's always ups and downs, you know? Always. And say, tell me, were you love under the chuppah? Like, I thought I was. Oh, I love you. Oh, I love you too, my snooky wuggles. Love you, my muggy buggy buns, you know? Oh, I love you so much. But it's just lip service. I didn't know them. Now that we've formed a family, been together, been through trials and tribulations, and we're still here, that's the real love. Ask anyone, try it. Try it. Before you get married, assuming you want to stay married, you don't get married for 1 year, I'm assuming, right? You want to get married, you want to last more than 1 year? Right? More than 5 years, 10 years, right? That's what you assume, right? Don't tell him they'll freak out. 6 months already is for most men just like the limit, you know? Like, wait, 6 months more than... And say to them, tell me, what's the formula to good marriage? You know? Were you in love when you got married? I'd be like, now you're in love. Yeah, you had your hand up.
Just thought, I don't know, I guess if I think of like when you exist and you're with someone, then you're automatically giving something because you're giving their time. But I just want to like picture love, like I just picture like it being not out of the entertainment, just like appreciating someone for like who they are. I guess that comes after the fact. But it's just like if you can watch someone and, you know, like imagine watching someone through like a window as they teach, you know, that's something I would like. So if I see a guy and he's teaching this classroom full of kids, like fell in love with him just because of him in this moment, he's doing something that I think is whatever. He hasn't given me anything. But has he? Has he given me something?
Maybe,
I don't think so.
but
So
that's a feeling you're having. I'm not negating it. That's a real
but
feeling.
that's not love. Well,
Now, one second. Let me ask you a question like this. Let's change the topic a little bit and change the scenario. How about you have a band up on stage? Okay, who's a big band? A teen band now, right? I don't know.
One Direction.
One Direction. They're still big? Are they still
no,
big?
They're not.
They broke up.
Okay, fine. That's it.
What?
What?
It's true, they did. I forgot. It was
Okay,
just
fine.
saying.
But let's use them, right? Now you're watching all those girls who then in the audience and they're screaming and crying and fainting. And he said, "Do you love them?" "Oh, I love One Direction."
That's not what I'm talking about.
Why? It's exactly the same.
No.
Kind of is.
No, it's not. No,
I'm not saying you're a teeny.
I guess okay. What about if it's someone I know
Uh-huh.
who I already like,
Uh-huh.
and then I see them in their environment?
Yeah, that's nice.
Like I'm watching them from afar.
It's good.
I'm like what? Like
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
follow
yeah.
someone from what they're
You can be attracted to them. You want to get to know them more. You want to begin a relationship with them.
You're not
But that's not
loving
love.
them.
That's not love. You like what they're doing to you. You like the feeling you have from it. Right? You love the music. You love the look. You love what they're doing to the world and society. But that's not love.
No, sorry.
Different questions to people.
Sorry to burst
No,
your
I was
bubble.
just gonna say for myself.
Actually, I'm not sorry to burst your
anytime
bubble at all,
that
actually. I
felt
like bursting bubbles.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't burst any bubbles.
Good.
Anytime that I felt that like I was close to loving someone, it was only because I gave and I felt that I had like lost something or given something that and it was like, man.
I hear you, sister. Been there. Done that.
So,
Be very, very careful. I mean, really, a person to be very, very careful who they give to.
if love is about giving, then can you manufacture love? If you want to love someone and you give to them,
Amazing question. And the answer is, yeah, you can manufacture, as you say. You can. Because let's think about children. Children are, and I'm father of a number of children, thank God, horrific beings. I'm talking about myself. I mean, really. I mean, they're absolutely horrendous. All they do is take and complain. And when if you've given them for enough of them, I mean, it's constant. Right? I mean, it's all the time. But you have to give to them. Imagine for a second, this wasn't my idea, but imagine that children were born as teenagers. Imagine that. They come out of the womb as a teenager. I mean, it sounds weird, but it could have been. God could have done it that way. There's a reason God made babies cute and adorable. Because if they came out as, and helpless, because if they came out as teenagers with the same attitude, where's my bottle? Could you wipe me, please? Sharon's mum wipes. Oh, what about me? You're like, oh my God, I'm going to kill this child. So God made babies cute, or we kill them.
that's scientifically proven.
100%, not even a question. I don't have to scientifically prove it. I'll tell you.
But why? So we can give to them?
But could you
So
choose
we
to
are.
manufacture love,
It's
though?
not for them, it's for us. We need to go through that process. That makes us love them.
Could you choose to manufacture love, though? Could you?
That's a choice.
no, but
That's a
could
choice.
you
You have a choice. That's my point. My point is, you're calling it manufacturing love.
Well, like if you're set up in a relationship that your family kind of doesn't give you a choice. It's
Oh,
like, this is the person.
oh, you mean a
If you're
romantic
giving to
relationship.
them, have you now
Yeah,
manufactured
absolutely.
love?
Absolutely.
Even
you
if they're a
can.
terrible person to you.
Listen, go back. Not well, terrible person to you is something else.
Yeah, let's say
If-
they
if-
hit you,
no.
but
I'm
you
not saying
do
abuse.
that.
No, I'm not saying abuse.
That's abuse is rated something else.
I wasn't-
By the way, you can fall in love with an abuser as well. That's
Yeah,
that's
but I just-
majorly
I just
common.
wasn't going
You
Because
can.
100%. People do all the time. Happened to us as a nation. When the Jewish people left Egypt, we were abused in Egypt. We left, and then we wanted to go back because the food was good back there. That's what we did. Look at the Torah. That's so much. We get to Pesach. We'll discuss this more. But they wanted to go back because the food was so good back in Egypt. They complained. They said, "Oh, it was so good. We had watermelon. We had garlic, the bread, the fish, the meat." Like, you crazy? It's just like the woman who's abused by her husband leaves and wants to go back. Why? Because with freedom comes responsibility. And they'd rather be back in, like, it's like being, what's called institutionalized. People reoffend to go back to prison. They're like, you're mad. It's exactly what it is. Because there's a safety in it. Why does that abused woman go back to that abusive husband, or that abusive relationship, whatever it is? Because there's safety there. Sounds crazy, but I get my 3 squares a day and I'm okay. Right? With freedom comes a tremendous responsibility. It's very, very, very difficult. So yes, abusive relationships can be that way. What?
What happened to the couple?
Oh, great question. What happened to a couple of the others? Great question, Julia. I spoke after a long, we've met a bunch of times, I spoke to her, not to him. He was in a great relationship. He was in, as Dr. David Popenow from Rutgers University coined the term, a quasi-marriage. He had a quasi-wife. That sound nice? Would you like to be a quasi-wife one day? Would you like to be a quasi-wife?
I don't know what that means.
Exactly. Doesn't sound good though, right?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Well, let me explain it to you. He was getting what he wanted. Time, attention, affection, everything else. Right? Without any responsibility. You don't have to give that much. So I wasn't talking to him because he was in a great relationship. He was in a great space. Right? He wasn't looking to get married the next 2-3 years, and she wanted to get married the next year or so. So I said to her, listen, you're a gambling woman. Do you gamble? She's like, no. I said, you could stay in this relationship, roll the dice and see where it goes. It could work out well for you. Maybe. Yes, maybe no. But you've taken a chance. This is your time. And time is more precious than money. And by the way, what I'm saying with you, you've all been in this relationship, I know. There is not a single person alive today, maybe in the extremely religious world, right, where they don't date for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Oh, it goes, no. It's a gamble. You're taking a chance. You roll the dice. You spin the wheel. Maybe it'll come up red. Maybe it'll come up black. Just it's your decision. Think about it. Left. They thought about it. She decided not a gamble she wanted to take. She broke up. 2 weeks later, they get back together again. They miss each other. You don't remember the good stuff for some reason. They broke up again. I think they got together again. On, off, you know? Hokey cokey, you know? She ended up breaking up with him for good. It was difficult. Within a few months, she met a new guy. She got married. She's got a kid now. And yeah, it was tough.
What happened to him?
It was tough. I lost contact with him. I'm not friends on Facebook with him, so I wouldn't know how to track him down. But the last thing I heard was that he was living with some girl on the Upper West Side. That's the last I heard.
If somebody isn't a giver naturally,
Then that's a red flag.
Can they? That is definitely.
That's a red flag.
Is,
And you can see it. And by the way, I always say people when they break up, they're like, you know, I knew when I was dating,
Yeah.
I saw it. I didn't do anything about it. They always tell me that.
Is
Always.
there such a thing as a person who learns how to give? If they
Sure,
want
that's a learnable skill. Oh, everyone does. Oh, your future husband's going to learn how to do it. He has to want to. He's going to learn how to do it. Oh, yeah. I come home, I give a class, or I hang out, I do something successful, I teach college, right? I come home, and I feel great. I was like, take out the garbage. I've been out the whole day. Take out the garbage, please. It's fantastic. The most annoying thing ever. Cold outside, I just came in, I'm hungry.
But then she loves you for it because you gave her.
She appreciates it, but I love her more. See, that's the twist.
She appreciates it. But why can't she love you for that?
She does, because she gives a lot more. She does.
But not for that. I'm not saying she loves you because she gives. Why can't she love you for getting? It's not.
Because taking doesn't create love.
What?
It's just the way it is. It's okay. She should. You can appreciate it.
That someone's
Yes.
giving to you.
Yes, you can appreciate it. I appreciate everything she does for me. But my love for her really is being built when I do for her. That's what builds it. You know, I do love her. I love the fact that she takes care of me, and I love the fact she takes care of my kids. I adore her for that. But if I do nothing for our relationship, then
That proves your love, but that doesn't make you love. That proves that you love her.
it proves I do love her, right? I wouldn't do it if I didn't love her. But it actually generates the love as well.
I believe it. I guess I wouldn't know.
You will one day, please God. You will.
So, you know, different people dispositionally give in different levels.
Yeah.
Right? And I take your point about you have to learn how to do that. You learn how to give everything. But if sort of the issue comes out when one person's giving much more than another, does that mean that two people that naturally give at different levels are incompatible?
Listen, as relationships progress, things change. You know, not everyone's the same. Some give more, some give less. My wife happens to be a very, very giving woman. She's like, you know.
Even the concept of breaking up and getting back.
One second. I'm going to a second. So my wife happens to be her personality. I'm a bit of a bum, right? You know, and she still loves me, and I appreciate it for that. You know, but she does a lot more. Okay, we give in different ways.
So does she love you more?
Yes, probably. And I'm madly in love with my wife. Thank God. You know, we just celebrated our 16th anniversary. Madly in love with her. I celebrated my 16th anniversary.
Maybe like dispositionally different people give the most of their ability, and that means they love the other person as much as they possibly can, right?
But there's got to be some giving. There's got to be some. And by the way, you got to define it. I put this in the book as well. It's in my head, and I apologize. That's why I gave this talk. But I had a friend of mine when I got married. Came to my wedding. So he spent the night with me in my my yeshiva dorm room. So he's there, and we're talking, schmoozing. And I was very nervous when I got married. I was very, very nervous, you know. I wasn't a young guy. I got married a little bit older. I mean, for my yeshiva, it was older, you know. And he went to me and goes to me about I'm getting divorced. I was like, oh my God, you're telling me now? I was like, I wasn't going to tell you. I was like, why the hell did you? So what happened? So he said, you know, I started a company when we got married. It's great. He was always a real entrepreneur. He'd buy stuff. Even in high schools like that, and in university, and yeshiva, I was like, my whole life. He's always buying, selling, you know, real, you know. And he started a micro loan business, giving micro loans, and he worked very, very hard. And he wasn't around. He wasn't in the bar. He wasn't hanging out with his friends. He was working very, very hard. And you asked why you're working. He didn't see him become rich to support my family. But he lost the whole marriage. They divorced after like a year and a half, 2 years. Why? Because he just wasn't there. He was, in his mind, he was giving, but he wasn't giving. It was the wrong form of giving. You know? Funny, he said he spoke to, I remember him saying this, he said, when I spoke to my rabbi about it, he said, what can I do? He's like, start giving right now. Whatever she says, just do it. Well, it's too little too late.
And
Sorry,
well, just a quick. So she wasn't there to. She couldn't give because he wasn't there, so she couldn't continue living.
I didn't think of it that way, yeah, I guess. And he wasn't there to build a love relationship either.
sorry, I interrupted you. Do you believe in the concept of breaking up and getting back together?
It's a good question. Oh, I didn't put it in the book actually, I'm upset. Yes, people do. The only thing I'll say is like this. When people break up and they do that together, they got to get engaged very, very quickly. If it drags on, same as the first time around. You know each other well, you've dated at least for 6 months, I'm assuming, let's say, or a year or 3 years, whatever it is. Get together, get engaged like literally within a couple of
But
weeks.
if like you break up because you're like we're very serious and we're both just too young for this and we need to develop.
Okay. So you break up, find each other at a later time? Could be. Could be.
But I mean like that is a concept though.
Yeah, it could be a person breaks up, gets together again, it wasn't the right time. Could be. If it's just a timing thing, that's possible. I have so much more to tell you, but I've run out of time.
No.
You'll buy my book, Will You Marry Me? Out in June.
Would you marry me? That's funny.
All right, great. Thanks, guys.